Kyle with All in Survival, and today we're going to go back to the prepper classroom and dive right into the most basic of principles. What is preparedness? And I'm going to start with the Wikipedia definition. It refers to a concrete research-based set of actions that are taken as a precautionary measure in the face of potential dangers. And in theory, I agree with this definition. However, I think it's a little complicated, and what we're here to do is break it all down. So, in my mind, what is the most important thing when thinking about preparedness? Well, it's a mindset, and it is the mindset to implement physical insurances against possible situations. These are very specific to you, right? And physical insurance are those things that could mitigate those possible situations in your life. So the first thing I'm going to talk a little bit about is what kind of disasters might be talking about. And that could be anything from tornadoes, hurricanes, ice storms, wildfires. I mean, the list goes on and on. And then on the man-made side, economic strife or political unrest. All of these things are right here in today's environment, and we have to think a lot about those. Where you live, what side of the country you're on, north or south, west or east. All of these things are going to change your perception of what your risk level is. If you're living in Seattle right now, I'm guessing you perceive your risk assessment differently than the guy living in Texas. Anyways, all right, we'll move on. So we've already talked about it. It's a mindset. And now a mindset is basically you have broadened your perspective to the point where you understand that there are bad things that happen in this world. And it is your job, your responsibility for your family and your protection. Your job. It is nobody else's. Not the police. It's definitely not the federal government's. It's your job. The idea of people in Atlanta not being able to call 911 should be a slap in the face. Everybody needs to recognize that 100 years ago, there was no 911. You handled your own business. Now, I'm not saying you need to run out and do that right now. I'm just saying you need to be mentally prepared for that possibility. That mindset is what we're talking about. Now, when you take a risk assessment of your situation and your potential threats, you need to look for those things. What is going to help me in that situation? And you have to be reasonable about it, okay? Obviously, having an M1 Abrams tank in the middle of civil unrest would be awesome, right? But it's not really practical. So let's stick with practicality, all right? So do you carry and concealed? Do you have some supplies in your vehicle? Do you have extra gas planned to the side? All of these things are part of the preparedness mindset, all right? And now, what else can we talk about, right? Risks and dangers, right? You don't get onto a boat without a life preserver. Not because you think that thing is definitely going to sink, but it's just for the what if, right? So these are risk mitigations, right? We don't have insurance for our cars because we know for sure we're going to get into a car accident. We have them for the what if. And it's the same thing with preparedness. We put some money aside just in case we lose our jobs, right? That's the old saying. Everybody knows you're supposed to have 1 to 3 months worth of money aside in case you lose your job. This whole coronavirus thing and people not being able to go to work, that's a perfect example of if you would have been in the preparedness mindset, you might have put some of that money aside. All right. That's pretty much coming down to the end of preparedness mindset and what is preparedness. Next, we're going to dive into the 3 types of preparedness and where you might fall in that, okay? I'll meet you on the other side. Stay safe.